Hi, I'm Julius White, lead pastor of Community Christian Center, and I just wanted to take a moment to personally thank you for connecting with us via our live stream. I believe that you're in the right place at the right time to receive a radical word that's going to change your life. And while we are so glad that you've connected with us via our live stream, we really look forward to meeting you and greeting you right here on our Henrico campus. Hey, we're located at 2213 National Street, Henrico, Virginia 23231. You can always check us out on the web at www.your3c.com. Now get your pad, get your pencil, get your paper, and let's get ready to go higher in the praise. Peace. Hi, I'm Julius White.
And welcome to worship. This is a Community Christian Center, and we wanted to welcome you all once again, our church family and our partners and our friends. And we wanted to enlighten you about our activities on today. So, first and foremost,
Good morning, everyone. Julius White, lead pastor here at Community Christian Center. So grateful that you guys are joining us this morning.
I am the executive pastor here at Community Christian Center, and my name is Joel Huey.
And as has become our norm for a minute, we are following the guidelines. There are only three of us. Give it up for our man in the back, Joe, the engineer, who's holding it down, making this broadcast possible. Before we turn this thing over and we really get loose, here's this. As always, we invite you guys to connect with us. If you don't know about Community Christian Center, if you don't know about what we're doing and how we're impacting our community
So,
here
Facebook.
in the eastern parts of Henrico, Virginia, uh, check us out, connect with us. And there's a couple of ways you can do so. You can just go out and peep who we are on our website. And that web address is www.your3c.com. You can find out more about us by simply connecting with us. And you can do that by texting the word welcome. Text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. When you do, you're going to get a Connect card. And the Connect card is going to ask you for three simple pieces of information, but very vital to us being able to connect and do life better together. So it's going to ask you for your name, a cell phone number, and an email address. Once we have those three vital pieces of information, we'll be able to connect and share the gift of 3C with you and your families. And when we are back in operation, we always invite you to come and visit us here live on our campus. Again, that address is 2213 National Street, Henrico, Virginia 23231. We invite you to plan your visit, and you can find that information right there on our website. Lastly, tomorrow morning at 10:30, we are right back here for our worship service via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. On Facebook, you can find us at Your 3C. If you put that in your search bar, it'll bring you right to our Community Christian page, and we're going to be right there going up with some praise and worship, and then we're going to have another one of these roundtable conversations that are just going to be positive and impactful to your life. Also on YouTube, they can subscribe to our YouTube channel at 3C Ministries Service. Sunday, see? 3C Ministries Sunday.
Right.
And you can catch us on YouTube Live. You can catch us on Facebook Live. Both will be happening tomorrow morning at 10:30. So, though there are some changes, we still getting our praise on. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
So, listen, we're going to be here for about an hour,
Right.
and Pastor Joe, I get to moderate, has some really, 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 really awesome information to share with you guys. Um, tell them a little bit about what this is and when we do it and why we
So,
do it.
one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we share with everybody is just our basic understandings of things here at Community Christian Center. So, I'll let you share our our motto.
Our motto is life is better when we
We
do
do
it
it together.
together. But I guess really this flows out of our vision.
It does.
And our vision is we are changed people, changing people with the love of God. And in other words, after we've experienced the love of God, you know, the sacrifice that God made for us and the giving of his son Christ uh, for our redeemed lives, we feel an accountability and a responsibility with the gifts, the talents, and the resources that God has given to us to create an atmosphere
Yep.
where others can experience this same change in every area of their life. And it all flows from the love of God.
It does. And so the basic principle or understanding of that was Pastor challenged me to create not a one time band aid, but a permanent program here at Community Christian Center where we could develop people in the area of finance. And so to run through the gambit,
That's
uh,
right. Give it to them.
my primary full time occupation is at New York Life. I'm a partner in the firm here in the Richmond area. And in our office, my team and I manage about $780 million of
Say again, bro.
780 million
$780 million.
of other people's money. Of course, I hold an insurance license and annuity license. I have a Series 6, a Series 63, a Series 7, and praise God, soon the Series 24.
So, in other words, he's qualified for this conversation that we're about to have.
And the other side of that coin is I've also been broke, right? So I've had to make certain changes and adjustments in my life in order to move from one area to another. And I did that building my financial house off of God's platform
Amen.
and not off of the world's platform. And so the Ark Financial's um, principle is predicting the rain doesn't count. Building the ark does. And the thought process behind that is that knowing that something's coming and not doing anything about it
Right.
is foolishness and not wisdom.
Well, it doesn't put you in any better
No
predicament
better.
situation,
And sometimes can actually put you in worse predicaments, which
Right.
we're going to talk about
Okay.
as
Okay.
we move on today. So we want to give you not only some biblical principles today, but we're going to give you some practical principles, things that you can put into place when you finish watching this, if you want to.
And then hopefully we'll have enough time for you guys to be able to send Pastor Joel some questions that you might have, especially concerning the economic situation that we're in. People
Yeah.
want to get into the market. This is a downtime. Can I take $200 become a multi-millionaire? And some real simplistic
Right.
but truthful strategies is hopefully what we'll get an opportunity to share with you also. So listen, do this. If you're watching, if you're connected, start a watch party. Invite some other friends. Share this information with your other friends. Uh, you know, Understanding your money and managing your money and making your money work for you is a key principle to successful living
Yep.
and stress-free living. And I don't want you guys to be like my generation where we learned this late or we're still struggling to attain
Yeah.
and ascertain this information even now and we're in our latter 50s and whatnot. So here's an opportunity to get this and you're getting this for free. And let me say this, if they came to your office and sat down with a person
Right.
of your qualifications with what's behind your name, how much would it cost them to get?
Most of the advisors in the office charge $250 an hour to design plans. Usually, it takes about 10 hours to put a plan together. So you're looking at somewhere around 2,500 to about $5,000 probably to get up and running, and then of course ongoing from that standpoint based upon your
And the
assets.
$5,000, this cost has nothing to do with your investments. This
No,
is
that's
just
for information.
for information and expertise.
Right.
So, guys, come on, take advantage, man. Uh, Again, start watch parties, share this. You don't get this level for free, and I'm grateful that he's a partner here at 3C. but I'm more grateful that he accepted the challenge to create this, that we could be a positive impact to our communities that we've been called to serve. So, introductory's done. Let's get into the meat of this thing.
So where we want to always begin is uh, this is God's plan for your financial success.
Say that
So
one more time, Reverend, so they
God's
understand.
plan for your financial success. So I'm not giving out get rich quick scheme tips. We're not doing that today. So what we are going to do is give you some principles to live your life by, and wealth is ascertained little by little.
Yeah.
So where did it all begin? So when God created man, what did He create man for? Right. So you got to know who you are before you can start actually beginning to live your basic life. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and 28. God created man, and I'm not going to read the whole scripture to you. I'm going to just jump into 28. But in 27, God created man. In 28, He said, and God blessed them. So God intended for us to be blessed in our DNA, right? Then it said, and God said unto them, be fruitful. He told us to multiply. He told us to replenish the earth, and He told us to subdue it. Then He turned around and gave us dominion over the fish in the sea, the fowl in the air, and over everything that moveth upon the earth. So your basic principle of understanding is God is on your side financially, and He wants you to be always increasing, always multiplying. He wants you to subdue, right? He wants you to replenish. And subdue means to control your environment, right? And if you're not sure whether you're in control of your environment or not, if you're concerned about being able to pay your bills for the next 3 months, you are not in control of your environment, right? And so God didn't want you to be in that predicament, and He's designed a pattern or a pathway for you to move from one side of the coin over to the other.
Okay.
But in order to do that, the first thing you have to do is decide that you're going to be a disciple of Jesus Christ.
So success key number one is there has to be a discipline.
It has to be a discipline.
Okay, here we
Right.
go. Write
So-
that down. Success key number one is there has to be a discipline.
And I began this journey with what does it even mean to be a disciple, of Jesus Christ? And here at Community Christian Center, Pastor has taught us is that if we misdefine, we miss a sign, right? And what that means is if you don't understand the words, then you're going to make wrong decisions simply because you didn't understand what you was talking about.
Yeah.
So what does it even mean to be a disciple of Christ? Well, a disciple is any professed follower, a messenger, an envoy, or an ambassador, one who is sent on behalf of another. So the basic principle, we're going to stay on the side of finance, is that if I'm a disciple of Christ, then I have to function financially the way Christ functions. And in my Bible, Jesus needed something. He reached out into the environment and got everything that he needed, right?
That's good.
And in my Bible, right, I don't find that Christ had a secular job, right? Traditional showed up for work at 9 o'clock in the morning and left at 5 o'clock. So if I'm a follower or a disciple of Christ, then what I've got to learn how to do is function the way He functioned and represent Him the way He represented Himself when He was here. Now, work is not a bad word.
Say it again.
Work is not a bad word.
Work is a good word.
Now, there's smart work and then there's hard work. and we have to learn how to work smart and not just work hard. So the steps of becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ you can find in Matthew chapter 16, verse 24 through 26. And it says, then Jesus said unto His disciples, so you got to get that. Jesus wasn't talking to the world.
Everybody,
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus said unto His disciples, and we just discussed what you had to do to become a disciple. He said, if any man will come after me, so if you're going to follow me, then what you got to do is learn to deny yourself.
1,
Take up your cross.
2,
and follow me.
Great.
Right? So how do we take those steps of becoming a disciple and turn that over into our financial world? So the first thing Jesus told you to do was deny yourself. Financially, that means you have to live on a budget.
Woo.
A budget, right? That means that I have to pre-decide where I'm going to spend every dollar.
How important is that?
Very important. And a lot of people have a misunderstanding about the word budget.
Yeah, because immediately budget means restrictions.
Correct. But I created the budget. So I created the restrictions.
So can we challenge that thought pattern of budget means restrictions to budget means liberation with moderation?
And so every business in the world
Right.
functions off of a budget. The only entity in America that doesn't have to function off of a budget is the federal government because they print money. The rest of us,
But they still have a budget.
yeah, they still have a budget.
Or a so-called budget.
But every other business entity, functions off of a budget, and what that means is I'm accountable to the resources that were put in my hand.
Right.
That's what a budget is: accountability to the resources put in my hand. And so people always come in and they sit down with me and they say, well, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And the first thing I said is, everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. The difference is I decide where I spend every dollar.
Okay.
So I've got savings, I've got investing, I've got every category of where I want to spend my money accounted for. I don't have any frivolous money available in my life. It's all budgeted and going to a specific place.
So everything has an assignment.
Has an assignment.
Almost like when we're back in Genesis 1, that everything has a purpose and an assignment. So our money should operate, because literally he gives them a budget in Genesis.
He laid it out right there.
But our money should have purpose and be assigned.
Correct.
Okay.
Ahead of time, right?
Wow.
So
wow.
I don't have a problem on payday when all my money is spent because it all went where I wanted it to go.
That's good, right there. Right.
So that every business,
so
everybody.
I'm not really broke.
Right.
I'm fulfilling the assignment with my money.
Exactly.
Okay. My money is now on assignment.
Yeah, everything went where it was supposed to go.
Good. This is good.
Now the second principle was take up your cross. Right?
Okay.
So take up your cross financially means you got to reconcile your statements every month. I got the budget. Now I got to go reconcile and make sure that every dollar went where I wanted every dollar to go. Right? And it's take up your cross because that's the work of it all. Every month I got to go back and look at the previous month and go, that went there, all the bills were paid, all the investments were taken care of, all the savings were taken care of. Everything that needed to be accounted for went in the category, or we were out of track. Spent too much money in this category. We were over budget. We were hit, right. So now we can make the necessary adjustments going forward to rectify the problem. Right. I got to take up my cross. I've got to do my own financial work every single solitary month.
Wow.
Right. My wife is an accountant for the Naval Marine Relief Society. She's a supervising accountant there, and her primary responsibilities is all of the resources for the society, right? So every month she's got to account for somewhere in the neighborhood of about $50 million, right? And every month the reconciliation got to equal. So, she's spending her talent and time looking for $126 or 27 cents. Or, and that's her job, is to tell the society where every single dollar went to.
And if you know Tima, she's going to find every single
The smaller
dollar.
the dollar, the more excited she gets, right? So you got to reconcile. So you got to take up your cross. And the last part about it is you got to follow Jesus. And here's what I mean by that. The world built its system off of God's principles, but they added a few other things. And as a Christian, if I'm functioning in the world system, right, then I'm susceptible to the world's problems. If I follow Jesus, if I follow the system the way he wrote it, the way God wrote it, I'm not susceptible to the problems that the world has to deal with.
Wow.
Right? And so what is God's system? So God designed 4 types of giving in the Bible. The first type of giving in the Bible is the tithe. And everybody, people struggle with that. The second type of giving in the Bible is first fruits. Most people don't believe it. The third type of giving is alms. Everybody understands that one, right? And the fourth type of giving is the seed. People think seed giving is a gamble. You're gonna have to tune in tomorrow at 10:30 to get the full understanding of that. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. But you needed to understand that God has these 4 basic principles of giving, and that is the structure for your financial life God's way,
Mm.
right? He told us in Genesis that he wanted us to be fruitful, which means always producing.
Okay.
He told us that he wanted us to multiply, which means always
Increasing.
increasing.
Right.
He told us that he wanted us to replenish, which means to fill, right? Then you got to spend it all, right? And then you got to fill it up again, right? Then he told us to subdue, which means controlling our environment. And this particular day, this particular class is going to be centered around controlling your environment. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to go about controlling your environment. So, recap. You got to deny yourself, live on budget.
Right.
Got to take up your cross, got to reconcile your dollars every single solitary month. You got to follow Jesus, 4 types of giving, God's structure. So now, after you got all of that, now you're ready to move into controlling your environment.
Okay.
And so we're going to talk about culture and cash. And it's funny because Pastor and I have been actually having this conversation for weeks now. But one of the basic principles that I learned in helping people improve their finances is you learn finances from your family. That's where you learn that, right? So maybe they didn't discuss stocks and bonds at your dinner table, right? Maybe they didn't discuss savings. Maybe they didn't discuss the value of life insurance. Maybe you didn't hear the budget conversations, or maybe your parents just said to you like, "No, I ain't got no money." Right? Maybe that's how you heard
That
it.
was a conversation in my
Right.
house.
That type of, so you never the culture of your family wasn't moving you forward financially. Or maybe the culture of your family was I struggle to get mine, you struggle to get yours. Or nobody gave me anything, I'm not giving you anything, right?
Yeah.
The culture of your family dictates how you spend your cash, right? I tell my clients that if you give me 3 months bank statements, I can tell you what's the most important thing in your life because that's where you spend all your money.
Right.
Right. And so if in your culture, financial culture, if expensive clothes, right, was the premium in your culture, soon as you get some cash, you're gonna run out and buy expensive clothes.
Yeah.
If expensive cars was the culture, soon as you get some money, you gonna run out and buy the most expensive car that they'll let you have, right? If it was jewelry, right? Whatever the culture around you was, created your cash spending habits. And if you want to change and you want to learn how to control your environment, the first thing you got to do is rewrite your culture.
Wow.
And here are 4 steps to rewrite your culture. The first one we talked about was to create and live on budget. And what I want to share with you is you have to take God's principles, his 4 types of giving, and design your budget around that. If you are not a tither and you're a Christian, you are outside of God's plan for your financial success. Y'all feel free to send all y'all letters to him. Right? And so you're outside of God's plan for your financial success. Now, God doesn't force you to participate in his plan. It's a choice. It's a decision, right? You don't want to tithe, feel free not to. But then don't expect all of the benefits that come from God's plan. So step number 1, if you want to learn how to control your environment, is live on budget and put God first. And here's the reason why. Basic understanding of tithing. God doesn't need your money, and we don't have time to prove that to you today, but I'm just going to tell you like this. We're sitting in a building that we can't afford, that they let us have with our credit and our signature. No, let me back up. Not even our credit. They just asked for our signature. God doesn't need your money. What God's trying to teach you is obedience and how to live on budget. Because if I can learn how to live on 90, I can learn how to live on 80.
Right.
And step number 2 is that you have to start saving 10% of what you make. You have to start saving 10% of what you make, right? So if I learn how to tithe, I teach myself that I can live on 90. Well, the next thing to do is adjust my budget to where I can live on 80. And the interesting thing about living on 80% of your income is you never put yourself in a financial position where you can't pay your bill, which means you don't have bad credit, which means nobody's calling your house looking for money. None of those things that go along with trying to live on spending 110% of what you make, 120% of what you make ever come into play
Okay.
because I only spend 80% of what I make. The other piece of the puzzle, learning to control your environment, is if I'm saving 10% of what I make, when hard times come, I don't have to go to the money changer.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
I
Right.
got
Right.
my own savings, right, that I can dip into to carry me through turbulent times, or more important, I can use part of that for investing when everybody else is jumping off the building. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So I got to start saving 10% of what I make,
Okay.
right? But if you tell me you can't tithe, you're also saying you can't save 10% of what you make.
Wow.
That's why God has that principle in place. If you want a full understanding of that, we're going to talk about that tomorrow at 10:30. Come on back. Start saving 10% of what you make. Number 3, you got to create 3 different types of asset categories from a taxable standpoint.
Okay. Now you're getting technical on this.
Now I'm getting technical on you.
What's an asset?
Okay. An asset is something that makes you money.
Say it again.
An asset is something that makes you money.
So it's not an asset if it does not make money. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that to one level clarification further. Your personal residence is not an asset. Don't let them talk you into that. You do not make money off your house. There are only 2 ways to get money out of a house: sell it
Okay.
or borrow against it.
Okay.
If you sold it, you no longer have
The
it.
asset. Right.
If you had to borrow against it, now you have a debt.
That. Yeah.
Right? Now, an asset, a rental house that you don't live in, that somebody makes rental payments to you for, that
That's
would be
an
an asset.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Your car is not an asset, it's transportation. Now, if you have a fleet of automobiles that you put out and you do Uber with your other cars, those cars would be an asset.
What if you're working business out of your car? You know, because the Grubhub and the
Still,
Uber.
it's transportation. Your car, you need your car to get from point A to point B. When that one dies, you got to buy another one, right? Not an asset. Assets stay. They remain, right? And they continue to put off profit and income for you over and over and over again. So from a taxable standpoint, you need 3 different categories. The first is called taxable. What that means is I invested some money, I got a profit, interest, I gained some interest on that money, but I had to pay tax on it this year.
Okay.
Examples of that would be savings accounts or CDs. Okay. Rental income from your rental property would fall into that category. If you bought and sold some stocks, I bought it today, I sold it tomorrow, I made profit. All of that would be coming out of your taxable bucket. Social Security would fall in your taxable bucket.
Okay.
All right. The next bucket is a tax deferred bucket. Okay. That means I invested some money today that I didn't pay tax on. And some point in the future, I'm going to have to pay tax on that dollar plus the gain.
Yeah. Okay.
Most people access
Gains.
gains,
What's a gain?
profit. You made some money.
So gains is where I've actually made money.
Made money
Increase the
off
benefit.
my investment.
Okay.
It went
All right.
up.
So I'm helping you guys out, you know, because
Yeah,
we're gonna get technical on this, but we're gonna clearly understand.
Made some money. Your account went up.
Okay.
Most people access the tax deferred bucket from work through their 401ks or 403bs or things on those lines through your employer. Your 401k or 403b, generally speaking, will come with a match. You put in $1, they give you $1, right? Now, last time I checked, that's 100% return on your investment guarantee, right? I wish they would let me buy people's 401k. Because I would buy everybody that comes in and says, I can't afford to put money in my 401k. I wish I could help. I'll take this. That's free money, right? Guaranteed return on your investment. You can open up an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, right? The difference between your IRA and your 401k is who owns it. Your 401k is owned by the company that you work for.
Okay.
Your IRA is owned by you. Here's how you know whether you're in control of your investment or not. With the market doing what it's doing, if I own the investment, I'm fixing to put some serious limitations on how much money you can take out because I own it.
Right.
If you own it, right, it's your personal investment account. You can take money in and out of it any day of the week that you want.
Okay.
Okay? The third type of option you have in the tax-deferred world is an annuity. There are three types of annuity. They're fixed annuity, which means we offer you a guaranteed rate of return. They're variable annuities, which means it goes up and down based upon the investment you chose. And then they're income annuities, which means we write you a check every single solitary month, whether the market is up or down, east, west, left, right. That check show up every month, right?
So the annuity and the type of annuity is kind of based upon where you are in your investment career or
in the
your
process,
life or
in
whatever.
life. So if I'm younger, I'm gonna have a variable because I'm trying to grow it. When I get close to retirement, right? Like you should have moved your money from the variable world to the conservative world 18 months ago if you was planning on retiring this year.
Right.
Fixed account, I'm getting X amount of dollars every single solitary a year in interest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the income annuities for when I'm ready to retire. I'm leaving work and I want to have control of some of my income. I'm going to annuitize, which means to turn it into a stream of income. Right? And then I'm going to start getting that check every single solitary month.
Okay. All right.
The third or the fourth level in the tax deferred bucket is what we call deferred compensation. So for you high income earners, your job will offer you some, not every job, but jobs offer you the ability to move income from one year to the next year. So I don't take all my income this year because I don't want to pay tax on it. I keep kicking it to the front. But I can pull off of that deferred compensation anytime I want. So here's an example where incomes may be fluctuating over the next few months. I've got a vat of deferred compensation from years ago sitting on the sideline that I can tap into and keep my environment, keep my situation steady.
Now, is that something, if your job doesn't offer it, is there a way to recreate that, or is that just a benefit of certain jobs? Or
Deferred comp is just a benefit of certain jobs.
Okay.
You got to get to certain levels of income before it really makes sense. Unless you're a small business owner. If you're a small business owner, then you can create deferred comp for yourself, and you can actually discriminate. So you could create deferred comp just for you or the rest of your business partners and exclude all the rest of your employees.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we'll tell y'all a little bit about why they get them tax payroll credits. All that's going into deferred comp for the owners. We not gonna see a dollar of it.
So at some point in time, you need to come back and talk to small business owners to show them how to capitalize off of being a small business owner. Because I'm sure there are some benefits that we're missing being small business owners simply because we don't know, all of what's available and the strategies that you can to take advantage of it. So cool.
That's your
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We will do that. That's your tax deferred world.
Okay.
The last is the tax free world, and this is the world that you ultimately want to live in. That means
So wait.
Mhm.
I can actually, because the saying is that there's a few things that gonna happen. There's death, taxes, and it's another one that I can't remember. But you're telling us that there is a tax-free world.
Correct. There's a tax
that I can actually live,
in.
create wealth or whatever,
Yep.
access it and not pay taxes on it
Correct. And legally and not go to jail.
legally.
And not go to jail.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, if you don't know about this part, lean in because you might want to pay attention right here. Go, come on with
There
it.
are three options, basically,
For the tax-free world.
in the tax-free world.
Okay, here we go.
So option number one is to open up a Roth IRA. So IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. Roth was just the senator who got it approved. That's all that is. It's not an acronym for anything.
Okay.
It allows you to use income that you've already paid tax on. So my paycheck, I already got it. I can invest that money, grow it to whatever size I want to grow it to, and never pay $1 worth of tax on the gain.
Wow.
That's option number
So
one.
it starts with taxed money. The monies
Correct.
that I'm investing in my Roth IRA have already been taxed.
Already been taxed.
And they've been taxed through my regular
Income.
earnings,
Correct.
whatever that vehicle is that
Correct.
I ran. And then I'm investing it.
And I never
So
have to
from
pay
the
tax.
time that money goes in to the time that money comes out, there's no taxation on the gains.
Correct.
The initial, you got to remember, the initial premium has already been taxed.
Correct.
So it's gain money that I can access tax-free from the time it goes in to the time it comes out.
Correct.
Okay.
Your second option are to buy what is called municipal bonds. Municipal bonds are loans to the government. Remember when we was kids at Christmas time, Grandma gave us them big old white piece of paper with the blue line around it, and they were savings bonds.
Yes.
They was worth $1 in 100 years. Those are municipal bonds. They're better ones than that, but those are municipal bonds. You can get municipal bonds at the federal level, the state level, or the local level.
Right.
Here's an example. If Mayor Stoney would have got his Coliseum approved, the city of Richmond would have issued bonds.
Right.
You could have loaned money to the city of Richmond, and you wouldn't have had to pay any tax on the gain off of the interest that you would earn back.
Okay.
If you buy federal bonds, you pay no federal tax or state tax. If you buy state bonds, you pay no federal tax if you live in the state that you purchased the bond from.
Okay.
So here's an example. You live in Virginia. If you buy California bonds, then you don't have to pay federal tax, but you still got to pay Virginia because that's how it works. Now, if you live in Virginia and you buy Virginia bonds, you pay no federal tax, you pay no state tax.
Okay.
The third way to develop tax-free income is cash value inside of your life insurance policy.
Life insurance?
Yeah, your life insurance. If you purchase a participating dividend-paying life insurance policy from a mutual insurance company.
Okay, slow down.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, you didn't took us way on the technical side now.
Participating, because all insurance companies are not participating. What that participating means is that we share with you.
Okay.
Okay. Dividend paying means that when we make a profit, we give the profit back to our owners, right? Which would be you.
Okay.
Mutual means that we don't have stockholders, so all of the profit goes back to our policyholders. Okay? You can access the cash value inside of your life insurance policy. You can access the guaranteed rate of return. You can access the dividend on an annual basis, completely tax-free.
So this one sounds like a bucket that everybody can have
Correct.
access to.
Yes.
But there is a lot of debate between cash value life insurance, term and investor rest, this, that. So give us some insight on.
So I'll give you some basics of that because we could spend all day here. But I'm going to give you some basics. So the basic trains of thought. Currently, right now, the company I work for is New York Life. Our guaranteed rate of return is 2.5% on your money. But we're actually paying 3.3 right now, plus the dividend. We pay dividends every year for the last 166 in a row.
Wow.
All right. So every year we make money and we give that money back to our policyholders. So you get your guaranteed rate of return, plus you get your dividend on top of your cash value. I mean, on top of what you put in. Every dollar you put into a whole life policy, you get every dollar of the money you put in back, plus the interest, plus the dividend. You can build that on whatever dollar amount you want to. You want to start off with $30 a month, $50 a month, whatever. Now, the other train of thought is I can buy a term policy. A term policy has a limit of time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's going to end at some point.
Mm.
A whole life policy is never going to end. We going to pay that premium the day you die, right? It lasts one day longer than you. A term policy, on the other hand, lasts for whatever the term you chose. So if I pick 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, whatever. The other theory of train of thought is buy the term policy and then take the difference of what you would have spent in the whole life policy and invest that in the market. And at the end of the day, you'll have more money there than you would have had inside of the life insurance policy.
Right.
So there are two troubles with that general thought process. Trouble number one is you don't know how to do that. The buy term and invest the difference thought process requires you to actually know where to invest your money to outperform the whole life policy.
Okay.
So that requires some education and time to watch the market. The whole life policy is set it and forget it, right? You don't have to do any checking. You don't have to do any, it's not market driven. The second piece of the puzzle is at some point in the future, that term policy is going to run out. When it does, you now have to go back and buy another one if you still need coverage. Well, the challenge is now I'm 10 years older or 15 years
Right,
older and the
right.
price is different, or I might not be healthy enough
The insurability.
to requalify for another policy. So now I can't use that vehicle at all. The third thing I tell people is all of those other wonderful tax-free options that you have income caps. So that wonderful Roth IRA that we just got finished talking about,
Mhm.
if your household income, husband and wife, is over 151,000, you can't use the Roth anymore.
Wow.
You don't have to close it, but you can't put any more money in.
Penny.
So they took that. If you're single, it's 121,000. So they took away the Roth IRA option for you.
Mhm.
The municipal bonds, the barrier to entry, right? You need at least $25,000 if you really want to play in the municipal bond market and make any real money. Well, if you don't have $25,000, you can't even get in.
Wow.
Right? So the cash value life insurance policy is purchased with age and health. So the younger I am, the healthier I am, the cheaper it is, and the bigger bucket of tax-free money I can build for myself down the road.
Wow.
Now, it should not be where all of your money is. This is where your safe money is, Reverend. And here's the interesting thing to understand. Buy term and invest the difference, right? These last few weeks, the market has lost 31% of its value.
Mm.
So if you were buying term and investing the difference, you just lost 31% of your money. Now that 3.3% plus that dividend, right? Sounding real good right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for the average consumer who's just getting themselves up and running, the whole life product is the best place to start. For the experienced investor, you're running into some caps where I can't use my old systems anymore. If you had got that whole life policy when you were younger, you would now be able to dump
Right.
more money there.
Because those insurance tools really have some built-in flexibilities with the overfunding without it becoming a modified endowment.
Mhm.
And
We'll teach a whole class on that.
yeah, he'll have to go deep into that. But and for the younger, more aggressive, there's the variable insurance that offer you some market strategies and whatnot. So
Lots of different
uh,
ways to get there, but you want to have every
I guess
thing
the
in
key
equal.
piece is that the component of the tax-free
Mhm.
monies
Right.
and the buckets that exist to get you to tax-free gains or tax-free money
Right.
has to be a part of your portfolio. Um, if you're going to have this financial freedom and these financial successes.
So if you look, if people say that if I have enough cash, I don't need the insurance pieces.
Insurance, right? I've heard that.
But if you go back, just go Google. Bill Gates just bought a $200 million life insurance policy a few years ago. Go on Google that. Man got billions,
Billions of dollars,
right?
right?
But the problem is they want access. Not the problem, or the opportunity is I want access to that dividend. And we're going to talk about the value of dividends here in a little bit. But New York Life, as an example, has been paying dividends for 166
Right,
years.
right.
That's every war, every president, every good economy, every
Every
bad
boy, right,
economy,
right,
and
right.
every epidemic that the United States of America has experienced. We pay dividends through every last one of them.
Wow,
You want to have some of that in your portfolio.
I do.
He does. That is the three components that you want to have from that piece of the puzzle as you're learning to control your environment. The last thing I'm gonna say about whole life insurance is right now the market's down 30+%. So you don't, if you needed cash, you wouldn't want to go sell your stock right now.
Right,
Right?
right,
And
right.
so having a whole life policy with cash value built up inside of it that I could access during these hard times, use let don't now I have to mess with my money in the market. When the market goes back up, I can put it back into my policy. Lots of reasons to have this
Yeah,
tool.
and you're gonna have to just have a
Yeah.
day where you talk about
Yeah.
the advantages of certain types of insurances because probably getting this in this format would,
Yeah.
yeah, it could seem a little confusing or
Yeah.
overwhelming. So gonna have you come back and just do a insurance,
So here's
piece
we have this class every third
every
Saturday
third Saturday.
from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're not going to stay that long today. But once we get our campus back open, we have the Ark Institute every single solitary month. So you can come and plug in, spend 3 hours with me for free once a month. Bring all your questions, all your ideas, all your thoughts. Every month here at Community Christian
What
Center, we
what
have
I've
this
really
class.
appreciated about Art is that not only is it Pastor Joe, but he's given us access to others. We
Mhm.
had the gentleman that came in that showed us the truth about our FICO
Yep.
scores and credit worthiness
Shout
and
out to Robert.
how to restore that, rebuild that. We had the
Yep.
home
Yep.
buying seminar that was a part of the Ark
Yep.
Foundation where we had Clockwise, was it Clock?
Clockwise.
Yeah,
Yep.
came in and
Yep.
gave us some tips on how to prepare to buy a
Yep.
house and positioning ourselves there. So it's the big thing about what I love about our ministry is we are actually trying to serve every facet of a man.
Mhm.
Spiritual, soul, body,
Yep.
and we're trying to speak to that. And I'm just grateful to have today, this morning, to do this highlight because basically this is a highlight. Remember, he just said that normally this class is about 3 hours, and I'm I'm in the Ark Institute. I'm a student of the Ark Institute. Pastor Joe is my personal financial advisor, and we have a plan and a strategy. As a matter of fact, we had a meeting downstairs, and he put all my stuff up on the TV screen, and some of it was like, "Lord Jesus, help me right now," and then some of it is encouraging.
Right.
But here's the truth: that it gives you your truth.
Right.
And once you know your truth, you can start to plot the path
That's right.
that you're choosing to go, but you can do it with truth.
Yeah, and I,
And
I think a lot of times what most people are what we call emotional spenders. You're happy you spend money. You're
yep,
sad you spend money.
yep,
You have no real direction for your money. And the trouble with living your life like that is the real commodity. Honestly, you guys, the truest commodity in life is time.
time. That's right.
That's the one thing you can get the money back. You can get portions of your health back. One thing you can't get back was
Time.
yesterday.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
So the next thing we want to talk about is asset classes, right? So we're talking about culture and cash, and we're talking about controlling your environment. And in order to do that, you need to have assets coming from certain classes. So the first class that of assets that I want to talk to you about are annuities, and the specific part about it is an income annuity. That's a paycheck that comes in every month, whether you work or not.
Right.
So years ago, most companies had pensions.
Mm.
You would go work for a company for 25 years, they pay you a check for the rest of your life. And they designed that program because most people only lived about 8 years after they finished working. You worked 25, we paid you 8 more, then you died. Well, people start living longer, Reverend. And they say, well, this right here not working too good. So we got to get out of that. And that's when they developed the current system. Taxation has something to do with it, but that's where they developed the current system, which says you are responsible for saving your own retirement income. And you are responsible for learning how to live off of it for the rest of your life.
Right.
So what we do is we help our clients when they get close to retirement take some of that money that's in their 401ks and create guaranteed income. And you want to have enough money coming in guaranteed to take care of what I call your front porch. Your front porch basically says, I got enough money to pay my basic expenses, right? So I don't have to work, but at the same token, I can't leave the front porch. That's as far as I can go. I come outside and wave at y'all going down the street, but I can't afford to leave the house. But I don't have to work either. So I want to make sure in my asset class that I've got enough money coming in every month that I don't have to work. The second asset class you want to work on is real estate. And that's buying an income producing property. So one of the things I teach to my clients is don't go buy that $600,000 house that the bank tells you can afford. Buy a $300,000 house, and then buy another $300,000 house and rent the other one out.
Right. Right.
So if you can afford the mortgage payment on a $600,000 house, buy two $300,000 houses, rent the other one out, and now you've got some income producing property, which also helps to make your current house less expensive for you. That's now an asset. The third is business income, right? So we're not gonna have time to dig into that today, but you need a side business, you need a hobby, or you need to start looking for limited partnerships. A limited partnership is where I invest some money into somebody else's profitable business.
Right.
They give me a share of the company for my investment,
Mm.
and I receive my share of the profit every year with no corresponding work going out. I'm not responsible for the day-to-day operations. I ain't mopping the floor. I'm not dealing with the employees.
Wow.
I'm picking up my check once a year when we make a net profit. Okay? So those are your three asset classes. The last thing I want to talk about today is basically all you need to know about investing. This is really all you need to know. Then we'll take some questions. You need to understand the rule of 72.
Okay, this is good right here.
The rule of 72.
It's another lean in moment right here. Go ahead.
The rule of 72 says, how long does it take for my money to double? And the way you calculate it is you take 72 and you divide it by your rate of return, right? So go to your 401k statement, pull it up. It'll tell you what your rate of return is. So you take 72 divided by your rate of return. So here's an example. If you're getting 1% on your money, it's going to take 72 years for your money to double.
I love this because it takes away some of those questions like, if I got this right here, how long before I'm a multimillionaire?
Right.
Well,
Here's the
here's
answer.
your truth and reality.
In reality, 72 divided by your rate of return tells you how long it takes for your money to double.
Right.
So if you were getting 10% on your money would double every 7.2 years.
Right.
If you're getting 20% return on your money would double every 3.5 years.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, if you take the stock market over any 10-year period of time you want, pick any decade you want, any 10 years you like, the stock market has averaged 9%. Now, the trouble is that for you investors who just got in the market in the last 9 years, y'all think 20+% returns are normal. They are not. The market has been inflated, right? Its average return has been 9%. Well, if I take 72 and I divide it by 9, roughly every 8 years or so, my money is going to double, right? So if I got $1,000, 8 years from now, it's now $2,000. So no, you cannot take your $1,000 and turn it into $1,000,000 in 3 days. It's not gonna happen. What you can do is take your $1,000 and focus your attention on doubling it. What most people don't realize is if if I have $1,000 and I double it 10 times, that's $1,000,000.
Wow.
So if you have $1,000 today, you're only 9 doubles away from $1,000,000. Now, depending on the rate of return I get, dictates how long that happens. But in your lifetime, if you just focus your attention on doubling, and you got $1,000 to start with, you can take that $1,000 and turn it into $1,000,000. It takes time, and it takes focus, and it takes practice. But if I've got $1,000,000 in cash, and I put that into those municipal bonds that we were talking about,
Mhm.
that are returning 4 to 5% return income for me, I just created $40,000 to $50,000 a year in tax-free income
Wow.
for the rest of my life. And the average American, if they had $50,000 a year of income coming in tax-free, they would be in control of their environment.
Man, that is awesome.
I could work the job I want. I could pursue the business I wanted. I could work the career. If I wanted to paint, I could paint. Right? $50,000 would take care of the average American's basic living expenses.
And that's what, $100,000.
That's what $1,000,000
A
revenue.
million.
Need
Million,
$1,000,000.
million.
Right? But if you got 1,000, you only 9 doubles away
from a million.
from $1,000,000. Right? So it is a doable plan for every single solitary American.
What I really like about this, and I'm hoping some of our young people are just happen to pass this and will lean in and just grab it, is that the younger you start with
Oh, most
this,
definitely.
the easier this is.
Yeah.
It's the catch up on the back end, because normally you're in debt, and
Yep.
you're at the end of the stage of being your earnings and whatnot. But if you catch this and create these habits in the beginning of your life, one, it doesn't take as much.
Right?
Two, time is on your side.
Yep.
And three, that time on your side creates more opportunity.
Mhm.
It's not as hard if you can discipline
Right.
yourself at a younger age, and then you get a longer period to enjoy
That's
this
right.
versus being concerned about this when you're at a stage where you actually should be preparing to enjoy this. So I hope you guys are catching this, parents. I hope you've caught it, and you'll sit down and you'll share it again with your children. I want to do this. We're going to open up for a question period, but again, the Ark Institute is offered here at Community Christian Center every month. Now, just look at what you got in an hour. 3 hours he sat down with intentionality and simplicity, to teach these strategies that you can live, that you can control your environment. And here's the thing. The funny thing about that is it's so biblical, because the word prosperity actually
Mhm.
is shalom, peace, actually means the ability to control circumstances and situations.
That's right.
Imagine how much more peaceful, prosperous your life is if you are in control of your circumstances and your situations. So I want to invite you guys again, the opportunity to connect by simply, do we have one for the art? We don't, but maybe that's something we should think about creating. I don't know. But listen, if you want more information on the Art Institute, when it is, how you can get involved in it, simply text the word welcome. Text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. Again, text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. Complete the Connect card. You guys, you got to complete the Connect card. But then you'll be able to communicate with us, and we'll be able to communicate with you to provide you dates, times, even insight of what's being taught in this particular class, um, free of charge.
Yeah. Free of charge.
3 hours of intense training to help you learn to master your measure, control your environment. One more time, text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. You want to complete the Connect card. 3 pieces of information that are relevant to us being able to connect is your name, your cell phone number, and your email address. We promise that you'll get an immediate response. Our team will reach out. You'll be able to ask for specific information,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be able to provide you with that and do life better together. So, are you ready for
I
questions?
will. I'm gonna do this for those of you who stuck it out for the whole hour. If you bailed, then you missed this piece of the puzzle. So for those of you who stuck it out the whole hour,
I'm gonna
um,
grab my phone for
here's
questioning.
here's some tips, right? So everybody's calling me, asking me, what should they buy? What stock should I buy? What piece of the puzzle should I buy? How can I make me some money real quick and double some of my dollars? So let me first explain to you what's going on in the market. Every share of stock has a value, what it's really worth. And because the market has been in this bull run for the last 10 years, stocks have been overinflated. So that means they've been selling at a premium over what they're really worth. What you've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks is the market returning itself back to normal. So I'm gonna kind of give you an example. If you've ever seen on television where a product will be for sale, and they'll tell you the manufacturer's suggested retail price for this product is $99.99, but you can buy it today for $49.99. Well, then you Google it and you find out that it's $48 all the time, right? So that's what's been going on in the market, right? The market is not on sale. I'm gonna say that to you again. The market is not on sale. The market is on discount.
Okay.
You want to wait and get in when the market is on sale, right? I want to buy stock low and sell stock high. So I want to buy a share of stock, especially if all you have is enough money to buy one share. I want to buy stock when the price is below its normal price.
Okay.
Not its inflated price, but its normal price. And so, as an example, I like to watch consumables. Stuff that we gonna buy whether we happy or sad, rich or poor. One of my favorite stocks is Coca-Cola, right? It doesn't matter. We buying soda, water, energy drinks, milk. You're gonna buy Coco, sell all that stuff, right? Coca-Cola stock right now is selling several dollars above its traditional low, right? It's about $38 a share. Its traditional low is about $36, right? So it's on discount, but it ain't on sale. Its high is about $61,
Okay.
right? So I want to buy it when it gets down to about $25. That way, when it goes from $25 back to $40, right? I've almost doubled my money with the stock going right back to normal. If it goes back up to 60 and I wait a little longer, I've definitely doubled my money. I can buy 1,000 shares of Coke for $2,500. Not today, because it's not $25 today. It's $38 today. If it drops down to 25, I can take $2,500 and buy that share, the 100 shares of stock. And then when it goes back up to $50, I could sell it, and now I've doubled my money. You do that 10 times, Reverend. 10
10
times.
times.
And you got $1 million, right?
Right.
So that's how it works, right? So what should I be doing right now, Pastor Joel, is the question. You should be saving money in your savings account and waiting for the market to go on sale.
Got it. Got it. Cool. So listen, we want to thank you guys that have hung out with us for this hour. We're about to get out of here real shortly and enjoy the rest of this day. Same to you. But right quick, while he's available, if you have any questions, you may have a question about your 401k. You may have a question about any of the information that was shared dealing with an asset or a liability or the different types of insurances. You may have a question about how you can meet with Joe and his team at New York Life. You may have questions about the benefit of having a personal financial advisor, how to put your budget together. you have any questions at this time, we want to give you guys a few minutes to get your questions in. Hopefully, it's something that Joe can speak to and get you an answer, or at least get you pointed in the right direction. And while we wait for a few minutes, I want to ask you this: for the person that's just getting started, what's good suggestive reading? Because you can start to equip yourself with some wisdom and some
Yep.
understanding. So, what do you suggest for getting started to increase knowledge and
So the first thing
understanding?
I'm gonna tell you to do is sign in tomorrow morning at 10:30, so you can get God's plan. Once you have God's plan and God's reading, some worldly reading, I would encourage people to start off with Robert Kawasaki's Cash Flow Quadrant.
It's
Um,
actually the book that I'm reading
yeah,
right now.
yeah, not Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad is just the story of his life. Go to the next book, which is the Cash Flow Quadrant, and he tells you about the asset classes and the four different types of income. So I would encourage you to kind of start there. The second thing I would encourage you to do is to spend a little time just understanding basic financial terminologies. So there's a great book. It's called The Words of Finance. I can't think of who the author is right now. But that is just basically giving you the terminology. What is a
Mm,
dividend? What is an annuity? What is right? Because if you miss the sign,
missed the
if you miss
fine.
the fine, you
You
miss the
missed the
sign.
sign. That's right.
So you need to learn what does that word mean. So you can get that. I would encourage you to start there. And then the last thing I would encourage you to do is to hire a financial professional. So at New York Life, we do have financial professionals that you can meet with free of charge. So hire you a financial professional who will spend the time talking with you. You're not gonna get my level, but we work as a team, and so you can get started with a younger advisor who won't charge you anything for some basic planning. They can help you with your budget. They can help
I,
you with
I
some
think
basic
that
stuff.
the pertinent thing to get with that is that I want that person on my team.
Correct.
I want access to that level of
Hmm.
information. No matter watch this, no matter how much money I want, I don't know how much money I make. I want a professional on
Yep.
my team, and if I can get that professional insight for free, because as you grow, the individual is also growing.
Yep.
But if it gets to the point that you outgrow the individual, there are other
Yeah.
persons that are there,
Next level is there.
next level. So the thing is to get started with a coach
Hmm.
right now at the level you are, to get a financial professional on your team that understands your plans, that understands your vision, that understands your desires, who can relate to your hope for us, and then help you map out the strategy to get you to the level of living and the level of life that you're desiring to be. So it's still beneficial to
Yep.
you to connect with. Hey, Pastor Joe, tell them how to get in touch with your office, where you guys are
Sure.
located, and
Well, right now we're 100% virtual.
which
So
makes it easier
makes it
probably
easy.
at
Yeah,
this
I can
time.
schedule virtual meetings with anybody. So the best way to get in touch with me is through my email.
Okay.
So it's jhuey at
Spell your
ft.
last name, Pastor, because
They're gonna type it on the screen, brother.
oh, okay.
So it's gonna be right there
Well,
in a
he
minute.
can't mess that one
He
up,
can't
can
mess that one up. It's his name too. J Huey at ft dot newyorklife.com. So I'm gonna say it again, and then it's gonna show up on the screen for you. But it's J Huey at ft dot newyorklife.com. So if you got some questions or you want to schedule a virtual meeting with one of my advisors, anybody that lets me know that you came to us via the Ark Institute here at Community Christian Center, I will meet with you. One of my team members will meet with you. There will be no charge. We don't charge for Ark here, so I won't charge for anybody that lets me know that they met me through this vehicle. And you can send your questions or any of those things. We'll set up a time to sit down and talk with you. But my email address is the best way to get in touch with
Cool. All right. So let's see. I don't see any questions coming through. Joe, there are no questions, right? We're not missing anything. So
me.
no
All right.
questions have come through. So Listen, we promised to keep this right about an hour, and I think we are right at the hour, maybe a little bit more, but hopefully it's been impactful and valuable to you guys. And again, take advantage of this. I can't say it enough. Take advantage of this. So one more time, you want to connect with our ministry, you want to know more about art, you want to know more about anything. Last night we had the chance to come on and share from Happily Ever After, which is our marriage and relationship. I believe that's still posted on
Yep.
our 3C fan page. So if you want to know what we're doing here at 3C, simply text the word welcome to 804-925-1466. Complete the connect card, please. Complete the connect card. 3 pieces of information yet relevant to us being able to properly connect is your name, a cell phone number, and an email address. We promise we're not inundating you with unnecessaries. We're just sharing our ministry with you. Listen, we're praying with you and your families, and as it concerns the coronavirus and how it may be impacting. We're praying with you if your family has been directly affected by this virus. We're praying with you if a spirit of fear is trying to overtake you, or we're praying with you. We're also here for encouragement and assistance if we can assist. You can contact us. You have our yeah, basically our everything, our web address. The office phone number is 804-384-0055. You can call, leave us a message. But we're here to serve our community as best we can. Anything else? Did we miss anything? One more time. Tomorrow morning, right here at 10:30, we're going to have a wonderful worship. Our praise team will come. We're going to have great praise, and then we're going to go back into some round table discussion to empower you to live life at a level that God really has intended you to. When we're finished these 90 days, you're going to be the master of your measure, or you're at least going to have a strategy on how to master your measure. So, with that being said, Pastor Joe, will you pray us out,
Sure.
please?
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you, dear Heavenly Father, for your love. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your Son, Jesus, that you gave us, dear Heavenly Father, while we may have the right to the tree of life. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you forgive us for all of our sins, that you create in us a clean heart. Continue to make us change people where we may go out and change others with your love. We thank you for this place called 3C that you've given us to be able to reach the world, dear Heavenly Father, reach, raise, and release. And we are so appreciative and so thankful for you for this platform. We ask a special blessing upon our pastors, continue to stretch them vision wise. Continue to work on them as people, dear Heavenly Father. Strengthen their bodies and their minds. We ask a special blessing upon all the partners of Community Christian Center. May your grace and your mercy pull closely up to them. Continue to make them disciples of Jesus Christ that they may have the power to heal all manner of sickness and disease. Bless our families, our friends, dear Heavenly Father, our city, our town, our state, our country, and our world. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You guys have an outstanding Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10:30.
Peace.
Peace.